Hi, my name is Ziggy, and today I'm going to talk to you about the exciting new automation technology called Checkbox. I'm also going to show you a couple of examples of what it looks like and how our customers are using the technology. First, let me give you the elevator pitch. Checkbox is a no-code platform for non-technical people to build interactive questionnaires that produce an outcome based on the responses to these questions. There are many outcomes that can arise from this system, such as the intake and triage of legal requests, document generation and negotiation for things like NDAs or application forms, bespoke legal advice based on a weighted score, and document approval with electronic signing. Of course, these are just some examples of what can be done with the platform, but because it is so flexible, we're seeing new use cases from our clients every day that we never imagined in the first place. My favorite one so far is an automated workflow to determine what temperature the office air conditioner should be set at. So although we have a bunch of templates to get you started, you can really go down any path you want. The thing is, there are so many technologies out there that were built to solve one particular issue. But what Checkbox is doing is we're taking this a step further by allowing people to build solutions to problems as they arise. Some people call this rapid application development. Until now, this concept was limited to the IT department, or at least people who were able to code. With Checkbox's no-code builder, now anyone can quickly and easily create custom automation workflows. And because these workflows are presented as questionnaires, no training is required for the people engaging with the platform to produce an outcome. Our CEO is a lawyer, and so are many people at Checkbox, including myself. So although we have clients across many industries, our focus has largely been on legal for the time being, which is why I'm going to focus on that today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ziggy, I get the big picture here. Checkbox is super amazing and can solve all my problems, but what does it actually look like? Well, let's start with the two most common use cases we see it being used for, namely legal request intake and self-service NDA generation. Let's jump in. So this is Checkbox. You can access it either by clicking on a link or a bookmark, or we can actually embed it into any system such as Teams or Slack or SharePoint, as it just sits there as a little iframe. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click start. We're presented with a landing page, but let's think of a hypothetical here. Let's say I'm a salesperson and I'm currently doing a deal with an organization over in China on the other side of the world, and we need an NDA put in place immediately so this deal can progress. The problem is, though, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I know that all of the lawyers in the legal department are sleeping, or at least pretending to be sleeping, so we can't actually request an NDA to be generated. We need it urgently. So what we can do is we can log on to the Checkbox platform to go to the legal intake and triage, or the digital front door for the legal department, to submit this kind of a request, and hopefully we can self-serve the NDA. So I've come onto this legal services gateway, or as I said before, digital front door, digital concierge for legal, and it's just giving me some information about how long all this is going to take, but I'm going to skip over that because I'm a salesperson and I have no patience. Straight away, I've presented with a menu of services over here on the left-hand side, but because I'm not a lawyer, I don't really know which category this falls under and what I need to select, so I can actually look over here to these tooltips. When I click contract agreement, I can see, okay, a non-disclosure agreement falls under this contract agreement selection, so I'll just click on that. Now, before I move on, I want to just make a point that Checkbox is completely customizable. So you can have all of your own colors, your own terminologies. You can have as many or as few of these services on offer. And of course, you can even have a drop-down menu instead of these radio buttons. It's really up to you. You can make that determination on your own, or we can advise on the best practices that we've seen other organizations do. Let's go ahead and click contract agreement and click next. Now, I'm presented with a very simple page here. It's only giving us two options. So I can either review an external agreement, and then this will take us down the path of redlining, negotiation, version history control, so that everything is in one place, so you're not sending the emails back and forth and losing different versions and things like that. In this case, though, I do want to focus on generating an actual template based on your internal and compliant template by clicking Draft New Agreement. Straight away, we're presented with a lot more information, and this kind of harks to the design of Checkbox, we spent a lot of time and a lot of effort making sure everything is as simple as possible, because we know that you can have the best tool in the world, but if no one uses it, then it's completely useless. So we've made it really, really simple and easy to use. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and click non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to click next. Now, the system is automatically triaging us to a different part of the platform, and this is the non-disclosure agreement tool. So it's really a choose your own adventure workflow that you can go down. And as you can see, very simple. It doesn't, show us the full range of the different paths that you can go down. It just goes down the path that we want to go down. So in this case, I click start, and I'm just going to go ahead and start answering some simple questions. Now, let's say I'm doing a deal with Tesla. So I'll put in Tesla, and what's happened is we're doing a live call over here to an external database so that I can just select from drop-down menu, which will then pre-populate the rest of the form. Now, of course, this saves your salesperson time, but more importantly, or at least I think more importantly, it mitigates the risk of inputting incorrect details. Like, look at these long numbers here. It's very easy to make those mistakes, particularly if you're a salesperson who's got no patience and is rushing through things. Let's go ahead and say the short name is Tesla, and I'm going to put down Elon Musk as our duly authorized representative, but he's been complaining to me a lot recently about getting a lot of emails, so I'm just going to put in my own email here so he doesn't get bothered too much, and I'll go ahead and click next. Now we can backdate this agreement. We can say it for last week, and we can select a general purpose, a purpose for the confidential information being shared. In this case, I'm going to select general business discussions, but of course I can click other, and that pops up a little free text box to type in what we want. Now down here, we need to put in the contract value. Now, of course, again, I just want to point out that all of these questions are designed and chosen by you. Of course, we can advise on what's best practice, but all of this is based on your requirements. Now I'm going to put in $5,000. We can see here no approval from legal is required. We actually can self-serve this NDA. Pretty low value. But if I change this to $5 million, immediately this says, okay, this is significant financial value, probably needs to be reviewed by legal. So the workflow is actually going to change. So instead of the document being generated automatically, it goes to legal. And perhaps we actually need the CFO and or the CEO to review this document, because $5 million is quite a lot of money. In this case, for today's purpose, I'm just going to leave it on 5,000 just so you can see it being generated immediately. I'm going to say it's an internal client and that we do have some trade secrets. Let's put down nuclear bomb technology because I'm a fan of nukes. Let's go ahead and click next. Now, this is the audit trail of all of the questions and the corresponding answers that have been created and input into the system. As a salesperson looking at this, if I'm happy with everything, I can just go ahead and click next. Or if I want to change something, I can click edit here. But of course, this audit trail is automatically stored on the Checkbox Central repository, and you have unlimited storage with all of our packages, so you don't need to worry about that. And while we're on that, you also have unlimited users as well. So you can just really have as many people as you want on the system. Checkbox scales with your organization without charging you extra for that scaling. Now I'm happy with everything, so I'm going to click submit. And this is actually going to generate the NDA and show it to us on the screen here. Now I'm sure all of you have seen a million NDAs before, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I do want to show you, look, we've inserted the purpose of the NDA of the document. We've also put in the trade secrets clause, and I just want you to note as well that it is a dynamic formatting, insertion, and removal of clauses, so that if there are numbers and letters and things like that, although it changes, the numbering and all that, it stays in the correct format, so you don't have duplicate numbers or missing numbers, so it all looks good and looks professional. Now, if I go all the way down to the signing page, we can see that the names have been inserted here and here. And what we will do once we click next is we will actually capture the date that this has been signed and the signature, because we have an out-of-the-box integration with both DocuSign and Adobe Sign. So all of this happens seamlessly. The salesperson doesn't need to set up anything. They just simply go up to the top of the page, click next, and this will automatically get sent out to Elon Musk because we've already captured his email in the previous questionnaire. Great, all done. So one thing that people often like to see is to track things as they're in progress, which is why, of course, in Checkbox, we have out-of-the-box dashboards and reports. Now, we can spend a lot of time in these dashboards and reports. There's a whole bunch of different views, and we can really dive deep and interact in these particular dashboards themselves, but I'm not going to go into that today. I do want to show you, however, that tracking of the NDA status, the signing status, your DocuSign. So if we come down here, we can actually see this NDA here, and we can see if I hover over that we've sent it to Elon Musk, but he hasn't actually signed it yet. We can, via this Actions tab, we can edit the NDA, or we can just send Elon a reminder saying, hey, can you just please sign this NDA? Come on, man, like we need to get this deal signed. Come on, Elon. So there's a lot you can do from this dashboard perspective. You can actually manage a lot of these things. Now, you're probably now thinking, well, this all looks really good. It looks really flexible, really powerful. But how do I actually change these workflows? Because inevitably, legislation changes, terminologies change, even interpretations of certain words change. So how do we go in and make adjustments to these workflows? This is the actual back end of the system. This is the no-code studio builder that I mentioned at the very beginning. And what we're looking at is the intake and triage tool that you saw right at the start. So if I click on this little box over here, on the right-hand side, we can open the form builder, and we can see that familiar page, the menu of services. If I click on this particular section, I can actually go in here, and instead of contract/NDA, I can make it contract/agreement, and it gets updated automatically. It's really that simple. You just click into things and start changing. Like I said, no code. Now, of course, this won't update the app live, the published app. It will automatically save a new version, and you would actually have to come back into here and publish this so that people aren't messed up in the middle of a process that they're already doing. Now, if I wanted to add an extra page in here, maybe like a yes/no question, I just drag that yes/no box over here. I'll drag an end box over here, and I'll drag this little arrow so that when we click start, it takes us to a yes/no. Are you an employee? If they say yes, well, let's continue down the process, and I can represent that through this arrow in the green node. And if they select no, I can kick them out of this process. It's really that simple. You literally can make changes within seconds, and you do not need any IT background. So we've covered a lot of stuff here, but of course we can dive in a lot deeper. So please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. My email is ziggy.cheng@checkbox.ai, but all my details are included on the platform that you're watching this video. Thank you very much for your time.